We are not yet in a recession, but what can you do to protect your money? In this video, you'll learn 5 things that you should do when the market is in a recession. Let me give you some quick relevant information about myself. I'm actually a former real estate agent, and what's important is that I was actually a real estate agent during the Great Recession. Yes, I actually got my license in 2007, August of 2007 to be exact. So probably one of the worst times you could possibly get a real estate license. However, being a real estate agent from 2007 to 2009, I learned a ton about recessions. And one thing I learned is that many people suffered because they had no clue about what to do financially. Now, luckily for me, I had started self-educating myself on finances at a pretty young age, and so that helped me to actually benefit coming out of that recession, where I was able to buy my first investment property, a duplex, at only 24 years old. Now, what I've learned is that it's what you do before and during a recession that can have a dramatic impact on your financial future coming out of a recession. In this video, I'll explain what a recession is, what you should be doing during one to make sure that you are financially secure, and how you can even use this downturn to your advantage. Classically, a recession is recognized as 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline. Now, we are not officially in a recession until the National Bureau of Economic Research declares that to be the case. Now, they don't declare a recession until metrics like GDP, unemployment, and many others are available. So in short, we could be in a recession for months before it's recognized as one. What I can tell you is, regardless of if it's declared an official recession or not, it feels like one. And here's why. Inflation is out of control, and the feds are raising interest rates at an unprecedented rate. Stocks and crypto prices are down significantly from the beginning of the year, and even the short and long-term treasury bond yield curves have inverted. This is a tall tale sign of a recession. However, there is one thing that is very common in a recession that we are currently not seeing. And that's usually recessions are characterized by high levels of unemployment. For example, during the Great Recession, unemployment was at 14% in June of 2009. By contrast, unemployment is under 5% right now. Well, what's the difference? Well, one thing is we had the COVID-19 pandemic, which flipped everything upside down, and the government started printing money like never before. And on top of that, we also are in a gig economy as well. So things are very different than 2009. However, with the economy contracting, companies may see profits going down, and this could potentially lead to layoffs. So we could see higher unemployment 6 to 12 months from now. Okay, now that we've discussed what a recession is, let's talk about the 5 things that you should do in a recession. All right, the first tip is that you want to stay calm. And the reason for this is that you've got to understand that recessions don't last forever. And we make better decisions when we actually are in a calm state. And so just keep this in mind, that the calmest minds make it through the worst storms. The economy is cyclic, and it's common to go through booms and busts every few years. And just to give you some more perspective on this, the average recession lasts about 17 months. With the shortest one being in 2020, which only lasted 2 months. Before I move on, I'd like to better understand what your concerns are about our current predicament. Let me know what scares you the most about a recession. Put that in the comments below, and maybe I'll even do a follow-up video. All right, while having the right mindset during a recession is really important, it's also important to make sure that your finances are in a good place. And that leads us right into tip number 2, which is reassess your budget. Like it or not, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that inflation is over 9%, which means everything is costing more than it did a year ago. And this means that your dollar won't take you as far as it did previously. And so you really want to reassess your budget to trim the fat where you can with your spending. I recommend starting with your bank accounts and credit card statements and look for things that you don't need that you can cut off with your spending. You can also look to replace expensive items with cheaper alternatives. So for example, instead of eating out, you could potentially cook more at home. Or find activities in the community that you like to do that again are lower costing activities. Another thing that you can also look into doing is switching to family or friend plans that will also save you money by splitting costs. Now, if you don't have a budget yet, now's definitely the time to start creating a budget. Tip number 3, don't cash out. All right, the stock market is down over 20% this year. Now, when this starts to happen and people seeing the stock market go down, they freak out. and they pull their money out. They do this thinking that pulling out cash will be safe, and this is a big mistake. Now, when someone does this, this locks in a loss. This is going against the mantra of buy low, sell high. Now, just keep in mind what happened in 2020, where it only took 6 months for the market to recoup its losses. Now, just keep in mind that if you're patient, the market does typically recover to where it was previously. And that leads me right into tip number 4, which is invest even more. While waiting for the market to recover, why not buy more stocks and bonds while they are cheap, right? We like discounts, don't we? So keep contributing to your retirement accounts and bump them up 1 or 2% if you can. The more shares you buy while they're cheap, the more money you'll make in the future when they appreciate in value. Now, if you already own shares and you continue to buy shares while they're cheap, that'll actually bring down your average cost, and this is known as dollar cost averaging. Before I share the last tip on how you can use a recession to your advantage, make sure that you smash that like button and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any empowering information from Expanding Wallet. All right, let's jump into how to use a recession to your advantage, which leads us right into tip number 5, which is get ready for opportunity. One key thing is to realize that during recessions, many things go on sale. It's not just stocks. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are nearly down by 70% from its peak in November. And house prices may soon follow as well as interest rates continue to rise, therefore taking out some potential buyers from the market. And house prices may be high now, but as interest rates continue to rise, they probably will come down. And so similar to the Great Recession, where many people started to buy investment properties, this could be an opportunity for you to also consider buying investment properties. And one other tip I'll tell you is that multifamily homes will tend to come down sooner in price than single family homes. Now, the key to all of this, again, is to be ready for the opportunities. And here's how. First, you want to save more money. Remember how we talked about budgeting? Well, work some goals into your budget, such as paying off debt or putting more money towards potentially investing in the future. I bought my first investment property only 9 months after graduating from college because I was very serious about my goal and I stuck to my budget. Second, earn more. Now, this might be a good time to ask for a raise depending on the industry you're in, or maybe it's not. Again, make sure you understand your industry, but one of the easiest ways to earn more is simply by asking for a raise. Now, the other way is to possibly join the gig economy and get a side hustle so that you can, again, earn more money. And third, boost your credit score, okay? If you do need to get a loan in the near future, right, potentially for an investment property or whatever it may be, you want to have your credit score as high as possible because that'll reduce the amount of interest that you'll pay. So simple things like putting your bills on auto pay so that they're getting paid on time and in full will help you to boost your credit score, as well as not closing old accounts and keeping new accounts to a minimum. So to summarize, recessions are temporary. And if you're strategic, you can actually come out ahead. Now, if you do feel like you need help with your personal finances, I do have an e-course on personal finances for future homeowners, and I do coach people one-on-one. You can contact me through the expandingwallet.com contact page or on Instagram on the Expanding Wallet Instagram page. Let's rise together and remember that you got to transform your mind to expand your wallet.